Hey there, fifth grade graduates. Each year on the last few days of school, I like to take a few minutes to congratulate our fifth graders as well as share some words of encouragement. I know this year looks a little bit different how we're doing that, but I still wanted to take the time to reach out to you. So, first of all, congratulations on closing out this chapter of your academic journey at Johnson. I know this is a special year for us. It's unique for obvious reasons, but it's special for both you and I, and I'm not sure if you realize why. But you're actually the first group that's gone through Johnson, kindergarten through fifth grade, for me as a principal. So in other words, your first year at Johnson was also my first year as principal. You were a kindergartner, I was a first year principal. So I've had the opportunity to watch you literally physically grow in stature and academically. And you've had the pleasure of watching me grow more gray in my beard and lose a little bit more hair on top. But I wanted to tell you that because I think that's a special bond that we share. But seriously, I learned so much from you over the years. You showed me the amount of potential that each individual Jaguar has because I watched you live into that potential, from learning numbers and letters and walking in straight lines to being student leaders and to being proactive and taking an active role in making Johnson the place that it is. So I appreciate what you've taught me over the last 5 years. You amaze me. This year, I know it was cut short, but just watching what you've been able to do, even from afar, the way you navigate Google Slides and reports and your learning, and really the way that you've taken charge of your learning is amazing to me. But more than anything, and I think more importantly of all, I'm amazed at your kindness and compassion. And that's what I hope you take with you more than anything from Johnson. That leaders are kind and they're compassionate and they consider others. And like I said, every day I watch you do that, whether it was at school or from afar, and that's amazing to me. And speaking of leaders, I know many of you have been part of Johnson, obviously, since kindergarten. If you're new to Johnson this year or years past, you still have probably heard about the 7 habits. And I want to talk to you about one of those habits right now, and that's habit 2, beginning with the end in mind. So as you prepare to move on to middle school and close out this chapter of your journey and start a new chapter, I want you to think about beginning with an end in mind. And it really means to have a plan. And I don't mean that as have a plan with a planner with dates and times that you're going to do things. You'll have to do that. But I'm thinking bigger than that. I want you to start thinking about really what you want to become in life, what you want to contribute to this world. It could be in your household, it could be your neighborhood, it could be your community, the state, or the world. And think about what difference you want to make. I always think about the words legacy and what you want your legacy to be. If you look on the bottom of my emails, it says live, laugh, love, and leave a legacy. That means leave a legacy means make a difference. There's a lot of quotes out there, and when we talk about beginning with the end in mind, having a plan and putting first things first and work before pleasure makes life better, and those are all important. But I want you to think more broadly than that and more impactful than that. And there's a quote from Gandhi that captures that, and it's be the change that you want to see in the world. So if you notice something that needs to be changed, don't wait for someone to make that change. You be that change in the world. I also want you to know that when you think about beginning with the end in mind and you think about leaving a legacy, and this is important, the older you get, from 5th grade to 6th grade, middle school years, on to high school and college, every decision you make impacts that end in mind even more. And there's really no way to sugarcoat this. I really want you to think about being thoughtful, being proactive, thinking before you act, because your decisions become more important as you get older. I mean, think about it as a kindergartner. If you've ever had an opportunity to be in Mr. G's office, if you were a kindergartner and you were running in the halls or doing something silly in school, you're in kindergarten. I probably just had a conversation with you and walked you down the hall, maybe even held your hand in the hall to help. As a 5th grader, those conversations are different because we expect more from you. So that's what's going to happen as you move on. More will be expected from you. So I just really want you to think about that end in mind and your legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? And just, be thoughtful when you make those decisions. Which leads me to my next piece, moving on. I know at this point you're probably excited to be moving on from Johnson because you're king of the hill, you're head of the class, and you've earned that right to be excited, and I don't blame you. You should be. You should see this as an accomplishment, graduating 5th grade, and you should be proud of yourself. But I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't realize right now, but you will. Just like you'll always hold a piece or hold a place in our heart at Johnson, I promise you, and again, you may not see this now, Johnson's always going to hold a special place in your heart. I encourage you to ask any adult in your life, mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, aunt, uncle, neighbor, ask them about an elementary memory, and their face will light up. For whatever reason, as we get older, elementary becomes more near and dear to our heart. They might remember an inspirational teacher, a best friend, or an inspirational staff member across the board, a moment on the playground that changed their life, or a moment that impacted them. But I'm telling you, Johnson's always going to be a special place for you. Elementary will always be a special place for you. And what I want you to know is that as you move on, and as you get older and you may miss Johnson a little more, I want you to know that we're always going to be here for you. You're always going to be special to us. Jaguar pride is real, and it's a part of who you are now. It's in your DNA. And as long as this building's standing here, there's always a place for you to come. If you have something going on in your life and you just want to talk to somebody, an adult, or you just want to help out, and sometimes, actually, we even have students that come back who want to go into teaching, and they come back to Johnson to work with kids. I want you to know that you're always welcome here, and we're always going to be here for you. So I want to close out by not saying goodbye or farewell. I'm going to look forward to seeing what you do and what legacy you leave behind, and you need to know this computer back here allows me to look you up and check in on you from afar to see how you're doing. I also have your middle school principals' phone numbers, and we have meetings. So I'll be looking for greatness from you, and I look forward to seeing the great things you do. So I'm going to sign out. I'm not going to say goodbye or farewell. I'm just going to tell you I'll see you later. I'll miss you, and make it a great summer.